The sun hung low over the golden plains, casting long shadows as the wind whispered through the acacia trees. It was in this land, in the kingdom of Ejuba, that Olumide was born, the son of a mighty king and the heir to a throne stolen by treachery. His father, King Adewale, was once the most feared and respected ruler in the land. His warriors, the Obadran, were unmatched, and his rule was strong. But power breeds enemies, and blood often betrays itself. Olumide's uncle, the cunning and ambitious Adero, conspired with rival chiefs and foreign slavers to seize the throne. One night, under the guise of peace, he struck. Adaro's warriors stormed the royal palace, cutting down the king's most loyal men in their sleep. The great Adewale was slain before the eyes of his wife, and his queen was dragged away into the dark, never to be seen again. The infant prince, Olumide, was cast into the wilderness, left to die as jackals howled in the distance, forged in fire. But fate was not done with him. A wandering warrior of the Ngoro tribe found the wailing child and carried him back to his people. The Ngoro were a feared warrior clan, dwelling deep in the highlands, untouched by the greed of kings. They lived by one law: only the strong survived. Olumide was raised in their ways, hardened by trials of pain and fire. By the age of 10, he fought against full-grown men in the warrior's pit. By 15, he was hunting lions with nothing but a spear. By 20, his name carried across the land like the thunder of a coming storm. But though he was Ngoro in blood and spirit, the fire of vengeance burned in his heart. He had not forgotten his father's fate, nor the throne that had been stolen from him. Adero still ruled Ejuba, but his grip was weak. He had grown fat and paranoid, haunted by the ghost of those he betrayed. The people suffered under his greed, the kingdom rotting from within. He knew that somewhere, the boy he left for dead might still breathe. So he sent spies, killers, and slavers to hunt for Olumide, but none returned. And then, one night, a warrior walked into the kingdom. He came alone, draped in the black and red war paint of the Ngoro, his eyes burning with the fury of a man born for vengeance. At his back, a great sword carved from the bones of a lion. His arrival sent whispers through the city. The prince had returned. One by one, the traitors fell. Olumide cut through Adaro's guards like a whirlwind, his blade singing through the air. The people, long silent under oppression, rose in rebellion, joining the warrior who had come to claim what was his. And finally, in the great hall of the palace, Olumide faced the man who had stolen everything from him. Adero, old and trembling, clutched his spear, but there was no escape. With one swift strike, Olumide sent his uncle to the gods. That night, the kingdom of Ejuba roared with celebration. The prince had reclaimed his throne. The warrior had become a king. But the gods are cruel to men who believe they have won. On the night of his coronation, as Olumide sat on his father's throne, a woman stepped forward. She was veiled, her voice trembling, but her presence sent a chill through the air. "You have slain my father," she whispered. She was the daughter of a man Olumide had killed in his quest for vengeance. A noble loyal to Adero, a traitor in Olumide's eyes. "You think vengeance is yours alone to take?" she asked. Before he could answer, pain exploded in his chest. The wine he had drunk moments before now burned through his veins like fire. His vision blurred, his breath faltered. The woman, her face streaked with tears, raised an empty vial. "You have taken everything from me, and now I have taken everything from you." The poison spread fast. Olumide staggered to his feet, but his legs betrayed him. He gripped the arms of his throne, gasping for breath as his warriors rushed to his side. He knew then, this was his fate. Not to die in battle, but to fall to the dagger he never saw. With the last of his strength, he rose to the balcony, looking over the city that had just crowned him king. His people, his warriors, they still cheered, unaware of the death that had already claimed him. And with his last breath, he roared. A sound that shook the land, a sound that would be remembered for generations. A final defiance, a final stand against fate. Then, silence. Olumide's death marked the beginning of the kingdom's slow collapse. Without him, the land fell to greed and war. The throne he fought for became a cursed seat, passed from hand to hand, each new king weaker than the last. And yet, the legend of Olumide never faded. Some say his spirit still lingers in the wind, a warning to those who seek power without understanding its price. Others say that, on stormy nights, you can still hear his last roar echoing across the plains, a reminder that the greatest warriors do not fall in battle. They fall to the dagger in the dark.